Peppa's family is really fun, and the episodes where they're all together are always really great. But do you actually know every single relative of the little pig?
This is Daddy Pig.
Great Grandpa Pig. At the most distant point of this family line, we have Great Grandpa Pig. He never actually appeared in the show, but he definitely exists. It's not like pigs grow on trees, so Grandpa Pig obviously had to have a father. The question is whether this Great Grandpa Pig is still alive. Considering Grandpa and Grandma Pig's ages, it's unlikely that he's still alive. If he is, then Great Grandpa Pig is either extremely healthy or he's just a few steps away from kicking the bucket. It would be really cool if the character were at least mentioned or even appeared in a future episode, assuming he's still around. If Great Grandpa Pig has already passed away, we could at least see him in a flashback episode with a younger version of Mummy Pig meeting him. And that's just the beginning of the complete pig family tree.
You know what's starting. It's another awesome Cinewave!
Grandpa Pig. Grandpa Pig has appeared in several episodes, and we're hoping he shows up in many more because he's a lot of fun. Grandpa is Mummy Pig's father and lives close to Peppa's house. That's why he and Grandma show up frequently in the show, unlike some other relatives who only appeared a handful of times. Grandpa is enjoying his senior years quite well, since he's always playing with his grandkids and even built them a treehouse, showing how cool and easygoing he is. And as anyone looking at his hat can imagine, Grandpa Pig was a sailor in his youth. It's no surprise he has a strong friendship and a bit of a rivalry with Grandpa Dog, who was also a sailor. At some point in his younger days, Grandpa Pig was also a biker and used to ride motorcycles with Grandma Pig, who was already his girlfriend at the time. Grandma Pig. Grandma Pig is Mummy Pig's mother and, of course, Grandpa's wife. Almost every time Grandpa appears, Grandma is there too. She's just as lovely as her husband and loves spending time with her grandkids. The difference is that Grandma is more relaxed and doesn't worry as much about the future, while Grandpa is a bit more serious. She likes cooking, shopping, and wearing perfumes. So much so that she even taught Peppa how to make her own perfumes. Grandma probably loved the time when Grandpa was a biker because her favorite music style is rock and roll even today, and no one would imagine that such a sweet old lady would enjoy that kind of loud music. Great Aunt Eevee. By the way, it was recently revealed that Grandma had a sister, and guess what her name was? Eevee. Yes, the same name as Peppa's baby sister. The original Eevee is considered Peppa and George's great aunt because she was their mother's aunt. We got the chance to see her in the show, even though she only appeared in a single image. Great Aunt Eevee is canonically already deceased. She probably hasn't been alive for a long time, even before Peppa was born. That's pretty sad if it's true because it means Grandma Pig's sister never got the chance to meet Peppa or George. Great Aunt Eevee is another character who could appear in a flashback episode set many years in the past, especially since she shares the same name as Peppa's little sister.
Paternal grandparents.
Notice how, until now, we've only talked about Mummy Pig's ancestors? Well, it turns out that Daddy Pig's parents, who would be Peppa's paternal grandparents, have never appeared in the show during all these 20+ years of new Peppa Pig episodes. It's as if they never existed, but obviously that can't be true since Daddy Pig has to have parents. The most likely explanation is that his parents have already passed away. That's the theory most fans who've thought about this seem to believe. Another theory that also makes a lot of sense is that his parents might live somewhere very far away, which prevents them from traveling to see him. Others think Daddy Pig might be estranged from them. Maybe Peppa's paternal grandparents never supported Daddy Pig's marriage to Mummy Pig. If you'd also like to see them appear in the show someday, comment down below. #grandparents. Uncle Pig. At least Daddy Pig's older brother showed up a few times in the series. Uncle Pig is considered more serious and smarter than his brother. And on top of that, he's also thinner. At least that's what they say in the show, even though both of them are drawn with belly sizes that look pretty much the same. Yep, Uncle Pig is basically better than Daddy Pig at a lot of things, and he absolutely hates being compared to his younger brother. Still, the two get along just fine, and Uncle Pig has his fun side as well. Not even he can resist jumping in a muddy puddle. Auntie Pig. Auntie Pig isn't Peppa's blood relative. She's part of the family because she's Uncle Pig's wife. She wears a pink polka dot dress and has blonde eyelashes, unlike Mummy Pig, who has black eyelashes. Thankfully, because otherwise it would be hard to tell them apart. Auntie Pig is a very friendly and calm lady, but she has never had much spotlight in the show. Daddy Pig. And now we can finally talk about Daddy Pig, Peppa's father. He's a character with many sides. In every every possible sense, if you know what we mean. He's pretty goofy and a little slow, but at the same time, he's a well-known engineer, to the point of being recognized by other people in the field. One of the running jokes about the character is that he's very round-bellied, always getting stuck whenever he tries to squeeze through a tight spot. Even the other characters constantly tease him about his weight. Not even Mummy Pig, his own wife, feels sorry for him during those moments. And keep in mind that, even though he's chubby, Daddy Pig is also really strong. In a competition, he once jumped so high that he reached a height close to that of a building. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be brave enough to make fun of someone with that much power in their legs.
Aunt Dottie Mummy Pig also has a sister, and her name is Dottie. She appeared for the very first time in an episode from late 2024, which is interesting because the first time she was mentioned was way back in a 2011 episode. Aunt Dottie never appeared earlier because she lives in another country, which makes it hard for her to visit her nieces and nephews often. While Mummy Pig is around 30 years old, Dottie is described as someone a bit over 30, which suggests she's probably slightly older than Peppa's mother. Mummy Pig. Mummy Pig couldn't be left out of a list like this, since she's the loving mother of Peppa and George. Unlike Daddy Pig, she seems to be much more skilled at doing things in general. Her main job is done on the computer, since she writes children's books. Sadly, this isn't explored very much in the series, but it is shown in a few episodes. She also works as a firefighter, but that job is much more of a hobby than anything else, where she meets up with her friends to chat. That doesn't mean they do nothing though. If a fire breaks out in town, Mummy Pig and her colleagues will take care of it. And if you're not subscribed yet, you know what to do. Click and hit the bell so you don't miss any videos.
Chloe Pig. Moving on to the kids' generation, let's start with the oldest, Chloe Pig, Uncle Pig's daughter. At 10 years old, she's much more mature than her cousin Peppa and prefers big kid activities. Yes, Chloe is definitely that type of child who thinks she's superior just because she's older, but she's still a good kid. She looks a lot like Peppa. Her biggest differences are her height and dress color. Chloe is much taller because she's more than twice her cousin's age, and her dress is yellow instead of red. Sometimes Uncle Pig's daughter even appears wearing a pink cap on her head. Peppa Pig. The next oldest after Chloe is Peppa herself, daughter of Daddy Pig and Mummy Pig. We don't even need to introduce her, right? She's the star of the show, and almost every episode focuses on her. This playful little 4-year-old pig is always learning new things while she plays. She's curious and energetic, but sometimes she can be stubborn and even a little insensitive. One example is when she simply hung up the phone on Susie Sheep, her best friend, just because she realized Susie could whistle and she couldn't. Pretty rude. Peppa's favorite toy is her teddy bear Teddy, or Teddy Girl, since Peppa keeps changing her mind about whether Teddy is a boy or a girl throughout the series.
George Pig. George is Peppa's younger brother, and unless you've never watched the show, you definitely know him. He's almost always following his older sister around. At only 2 years old, the little guy is still learning how to communicate properly. One of the few things he says clearly is dinosaur, since he's obsessed with prehistoric animals. His favorite toy is, of course, Mr. Dinosaur, which he carries everywhere he goes. George loves making a mess and enjoys more daring kinds of play than his older sister. While Peppa prefers pretending to be a doctor, George usually likes dinosaur battles and things like that. Something really cool about George is that many fans have noticed that, as the seasons go by, he gradually gets better at communicating, as if George were actually growing up, even though time in Peppa Pig works in a completely different way. Alexander Pig. Alexander Pig, better known as Baby Alexander, was for a long time the youngest member of the Pig family. He's Uncle Pig's youngest son and Chloe's baby brother. When he appeared in the show for the first time, Alexander was just a tiny newborn. In later episodes, he showed up a little bigger, although still very much a baby. Pig. Now it's time to talk about Eevee Pig, the one responsible for taking away Alexander's title as the youngest member of the Pig family. That's because she was born in 2025, making her a very recent addition to the show, and one of the biggest updates Peppa Pig has received since the animation first began. Few people expected Peppa to ever gain a baby sister, but yes, it happened, and it was a great decision for the show, because several episodes focusing on Eevee were made, showing everything from Mummy Pig's
pregnancy to the birth of the new little piglet, not to mention the episodes released afterward, showing the little baby living with her family. All of this marked a new phase for the show, with the pig family moving into a new house after all those years in the same home. Eevee is still very young, but she has already shown a personality that will likely grow and develop a lot in the future. She even shares the same favorite type of animal as George. While the little boy loves dinosaurs, Eevee loves rubber duckies.
It's almost over, but until then you can stay with us. There are 2 super fun videos waiting for you. Thanks, and see you next time.